This is the story of the magical New Year's clock. Once upon a time, in the heart of a bustling little town named Kadunga, stood an ancient clock tower that everyone called the magical New Year's clock. It was no ordinary clock. It only came to life once a year on New Year's Eve at the stroke of midnight. Legend had it that the clock had magical powers. Anyone who made a wish under its chime as the new year began would see their dreams come true. But there was one catch: the wish had to be selfless, one that would bring happiness to others, not just to oneself. In Kadunga, there lived two siblings, Coco and Kiki. Coco was 10 years old, a curious girl with bright eyes and an endless imagination. Kiki was her younger brother, and he was 7 years old and he loved adventure, though he was often more interested in finding the perfect snack than solving mysteries. That year, Kadunga was filled with excitement. The magical New Year's clock was rumored to be granting a special wish that could change the town forever. Coco and Kiki decided this was the perfect chance to experience the magic for themselves. The siblings visited the clock tower that afternoon, where they met Mr. Baraka, the elderly keeper of the tower. He had snowy white hair, a kind smile, and a twinkle in his eye that suggested he knew more than he let on. "Ah, you two must be here for the New Year's chime," Mr. Baraka said as they arrived. "Yes," Coco exclaimed. "We want to make a wish, but how do we make sure it comes true?" Mr. Baraka chuckled. "The clock knows your heart. It only grants wishes that bring joy to others. Think carefully about what you'd like to wish for, and don't forget, the clock strikes at midnight, not a second earlier or later." As they left the tower, Coco and Kiki noticed something strange. Many townsfolk were unhappy. Miss Maya, who was the baker, was worried because she couldn't afford to fix her broken oven. Mr. Brian, who was the toy maker, looked sad because no one could afford new toys. Even the usually cheerful kids in the park were gloomy. Coco turned to Kiki. "I know what I want to wish for. I want everyone in Kadunga to be happy again." Kiki frowned. "But how can one wish make everyone happy? We need something big, like a giant party or a snowfall or maybe a feast." Coco nodded thoughtfully. "Let's see if we can figure it out before midnight." As the sun set, the siblings started gathering ideas. They asked Mrs. Maya what she needed most. "Oh, just a working oven," she sighed. Then they visited Mr. Brian, who said, "I wish I had the tools to fix the broken toys for the kids." Finally, they joined the children in the park. "We just want snow," one little boy said wistfully. "It doesn't feel like New Year's without sledding." Coco and Kiki realized something very important. Happiness wasn't about one big thing. It was about many little things coming together. That night, as the stars twinkled above, Coco and Kiki climbed the clock tower just before midnight. The bells began to hum softly, ready to chime. "What's your wish, children?" Mr. Baraka asked. Coco closed her eyes and spoke from her heart. "I wish for the new year to bring joy to everyone in Kadunga. Warm ovens for bakers, tools for toy makers, and snow for the kids." Kiki quickly added, "And maybe some extra cookies for the clock tower keeper." Mr. Baraka laughed. "A thoughtful wish indeed." As the clock struck midnight, its chimes rang out across the town. A soft glow enveloped the tower, and sparkles of light floated through the air, spreading magic everywhere. The next morning, Kadunga woke up to wonderful surprises. Mrs. Maya found a brand new oven in her bakery, ready to bake the tastiest treats. Mr. Brian discovered a shiny toolbox on his workbench, perfect for fixing toys. And outside, the entire town was blanketed in fluffy, sparkling snow, just right for sledding. Coco and Kiki watched from their window, thrilled to see everyone smiling and laughing again. They knew their wish had come true. From that day on, the magical New Year's clock became more than a legend. It was a symbol of kindness and selflessness. Every year, the people of Kadunga gathered at the clock tower on New Year's Eve, each thinking of a wish that could bring happiness to others. And as for Coco and Kiki, they grew up, but they never stopped making magical wishes. After all, they knew that the best way to start a new year was with a heart full of love and a wish to make the world a little brighter. The end.